Perspective Report.
Bacon and Splash, or new Eggo's
Perspective.
strawberry banana waffles. Only available till somebody pulls the plug.
5, despite economic uncertainty, Canoo's electric vehicle battery plant is gearing up for business.
Breaking tonight, troubled electric car manufacturer Canoo files for bankruptcy.
We are truly disappointed that things turned out as they did.
I simply had loans against my stock, so if Tesla and SpaceX went bankrupt, I would go bankrupt too, immediately.
I love the AI capability on it.
No, I think electric cars are very much in America's future, and I think much sooner than autonomous driving.
There's concern, big concern, about the future of Lordstown Motors.
A regulatory filing indicates it may not be able to survive. Certainly, it needs more money to make it.
Are you a millionaire from trading now?
Yes. I make more in my trading than I do in my medical practice.
You do? And how many years have you been trading now?
It's been like 13, 14 years.
While some believe success is based on the brilliant technology and minds that create innovation, oftentimes it relies on markets, trading, and investments that many feel are not always in the public's best interests.
A new poll out this morning that shows a majority of people believe the stock market is rigged against amateur investors in favor of large professional investors. A focus group to get a sense of how folks are feeling about hedge funds.
Car maker Lucid Motors is slashing jobs at its plant in Casa Grande.
Almost 1,000 people could be out of work by July as Lucid tries to cut expenses.
It was resumed and those losses continued. The company was vying for a contract to update the post office fleet. It was about a 10-year contract for just about $480 million. A company called Oshkosh Defense received that contract. Lordstown Motors was also competing for it. Their shares down double digits as well.
So how do we see through the storm? A way to vote with your dollar to grow innovation that can positively affect our future. I'm not a financial advisor, but I am your guide for analysis, data, and strategy. And I think that might help here.
You're going to be the first to experience the roadblocks and the hurdles. You have to be kind of fearless.
What do you think of when I list the following companies? Lucid Motors, Canoo Inc., Faraday Future, New Ride/Lordstown Motors Corporation, the Nikola Corporation, and the Workhorse Group Incorporated. If you are just a casual exister on this beautiful planet, they mean nothing. But if you were part of the electric vehicle hype scene from 2010 through 2019, and more importantly, an investor in these stocks, then a shallow pit of disappointment has suddenly opened up behind you and swallowed you whole. Despite some companies like Tesla or Rivian, for the most part delivering on promises and expectations of EVs, many companies who emerged during this time with flashy product reveals, celebrity endorsements, and eye-watering capital investment from big sources have failed pretty hard. It's not because EVs are bad. They are the inevitable future where divesting from non-renewable resources will be one of, if not the most important thing we can do in our lifetimes for future generations. No, what makes things hard for these companies is the amount of infrastructure investment, specialized workforce investment, product investment, production investment, and also convincing people that their plug-and-go car won't leave them stranded in the desert. While those are a lot of cons to overcome, with a solid plan and a lot of money to burn, it can be done. See Tesla. Think back to 2014. How many electric cars did you see on the road? Now, they are way more common. But that took Tesla 20 years, a new head boss, and smart investments like the supercharger network to make that happen. These other companies took a very different route. These other companies' market share at one point combined totaled $10 billion plus, with stocks like Faraday Future being valued at $177,000 for one share. Crazy. Now the stock growth across these 6 outcast EV companies sits at negative 94% all time. So let's deep dive into how it happened with some analysis on the strategies of failing EV startups. Lucid Motors. In 2007, 3 guys got together and founded a company called Ativa to build electric vehicle batteries for companies. One of these founders was a former Tesla VP. They did most of their business in China. Then they hired a former Tesla VP of engineering and went all in on making full-service electric vehicles, changing their name to Lucid Motors in 2016. The former Tesla VP of engineering that was hired to make these electric vehicles was made CEO in 2019. Lucid Motors has raised $11.9 billion since 2009, according to Crunchbase. In 2021, Lucid Motors went public trading on the NASDAQ through a SPAC merger, which means the path to profitability is nowhere in sight, and they didn't want people looking too closely until after they got a big cash injection. In reality, a SPAC merger is when a related shell company formed by investors or owners with no business of their own but is listed on the market acquires a private company seeking to go public, and that company through the acquisition is now listed on the market as part of the shell group known as a special purpose acquisition company, or SPAC. This is a faster, cheaper, and easier way to liquidity from the market to help businesses that need cash injections without the formalities like an IPO. This type of stock listing will make a repeated appearance in this video. In fact, all the companies here were listed via SPAC mergers, but we will save that until the end. Lucid Motors broke ground in December 2019 on a 590-acre manufacturing plant in Casa Grande, Arizona. It was completed in December 2020. The first cars were completed from this production line in September 2021. They also announced a long-term plan to build factories in Saudi Arabia, a country whose sovereign fund has a majority ownership stake in Lucid Motors. Another win for Lucid came with a $450 million deal with Aston Martin to build the infrastructure of Aston Martin's anticipated electric vehicle fleet. This deal gave Lucid a 4% stake in Aston Martin and $130 million cash and a guarantee to buy $225 million worth of completed product. On the production side for Lucid Motors, in the combined years of 2023 and 2024, they produced 17,457 cars and delivered over 16,000 of them, a 91% delivery rate. For comparison, Tesla delivered 936,000 vehicles in 2021. So that means over 2 years, Lucid Motors delivered 2% of the amount Tesla did 3 years prior. Lucid Motors' market capitalization, or market cap, which is just the total shares multiplied by the share price, is $9.25 billion as of January 2025. Their all-time high stock price was $55.21, and that was reached in November 2021. And as of January 2025, their stock is valued at over $3 a share. That is a 94% drop from their all-time high. Canoo Inc. began life as Evolocity in 2017, started by two guys who met while working at another EV company featured in this video, Faraday Future. One of the founders was a bank executive and the other was a non-engineering executive at BMW. They hired a former CEO of Opel, a German car manufacturer, in 2018 to round out their executive team. In March 2019, Evolocity officially changed its name to Canoo. In July 2019, the former Opel CEO left his position after only 1 year at the company, a sign of things to come. In September 2019, Canoo presented their first prototype. Canoo raised $595 million in funding since 2020, according to Crunchbase. In July 2020, one of the co-founders left Canoo, and the other founder took over as CEO. In December 2020, Canoo went public, listing on the NASDAQ through a SPAC merger. In February 2020, Hyundai Motor Group and Canoo announced a partnership. In March 2021, that deal was ended by Canoo. In early 2020, Apple Inc. was looking to make an electric vehicle and reached out to Canoo to discuss a partnership. The agreement was never finalized. In April 2021, the other co-founder left Canoo as well, leaving them with no original co-founders, and a new CEO was announced. In December 2020, before the stock IPO, Canoo announced its MPDV line, multi-purpose delivery vehicle. It was expected in 2022 but never materialized. In 2021, Canoo announced a pickup truck, and one was delivered to the U.S. Army to fulfill a contract. The truck never went into production. In 2023, a Canoo vehicle was confirmed to be delivered to the USPS as a pilot test, and in 2024, the USPS ordered 6 right-handed LDVs, USPS standing for the United States Postal Service. Over the company's short history, only 12 vehicles were ever delivered to contractors. In June 2021, Canoo revealed plans to build a factory in Pryor, Oklahoma. It was completed in 2023. They announced another factory to be built in Pryor, Oklahoma for vehicle batteries. This factory never came to be. In November 2021, Canoo declared it was moving to Arkansas and building a plant there. And in January 2022, they leased a $17 million building in Bentonville, Arkansas for 10 years. But in May 2024, it was put up for sublease. In November 2022, Canoo agreed to purchase a 630,000 square foot plant in Oklahoma City. The deal was finalized in April 2023. In August 2024, Canoo again announced it was moving its headquarters away from the Los Angeles County area to who knows where. In December 2024, they furloughed 82 employees in Oklahoma and paused all factory operations. On January 17, 2025, Canoo officially filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and ceased all operations while the U.S. Bankruptcy Court of Delaware, where they were incorporated for tax reasons, appointed a trustee to oversee the liquidation of assets. Canoo's all-time high stock price for a single share was $9,328, reached in December 2021. And in January 2025, at the time of the bankruptcy, a share of GoEv, or Canoo, was worth $1.35. That is a 99.9% decrease all time.
Embodying strength and determination.
Next up is Faraday Future. Faraday was founded in 2014 by Chinese-born investor Jia Yuting. Jia was also an early investor in Lucid Motors, then named Ativa, a direct competitor and featured earlier in this video. He purchased a 20% stake in Lucid Motors in 2016 with borrowed cash. Faraday Future was named for Faraday's law of induction that's attributed to English scientist Michael Faraday. Faraday is headquartered in Los Angeles and had 1,000 employees by 2016. In 2015, Faraday revealed plans to build a factory in North Las Vegas. In 2017, the plan was canceled due to finances. In 2016, the city of Vallejo in the Bay Area announced an exclusive negotiating agreement with Faraday to bring them to Mare Island for a factory. Faraday ended that agreement in early 2017. January 2016, Faraday debuted its concept car at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. In 2017, they revealed the luxury model FF91 at CES again. The FF91 price tag was, quote, less than $300,000, end quote, and had 64,000 reservations within 2 days of the debut. Since 2015, Faraday have acknowledged financial struggles, but despite profitability being very far away, Faraday has raised over $4.1 billion since 2017, according to Crunchbase. At the end of 2018, Faraday was trying to reduce its 1,000-person staff down to 600 people. In 2019, Faraday announced a plan to develop a minivan in China called V9 with Chinese-based video game licensor The Nine. Jia Yuting, the founder of Faraday, filed for personal bankruptcy in the U.S. Court of Delaware in October 2019 and stepped down as CEO in 2020. In July 2021, the company listed itself on the NASDAQ through a SPAC merger. The SEC filed an investigation into Faraday over giving inaccurate statements to investors. That same year, CEO number 3 was announced. Faraday's marketing was very influencer-heavy, utilizing specific individuals and tastemakers, with partnerships that were called Developer Co-Creation Officers, and they featured them on their YouTube channel. By January 2025, Faraday had produced 16 cars all time. Their all-time high stock price was $177,000, given the limited shares released, and they have a market cap of $74 million, far from their OG evaluation of $3.4 billion. As of January 2025, a share of Faraday is worth $1.51. Next up is New Ride Inc., formerly known as Lordstown Motors Corporation. New Ride Inc., which sounds like a scooter company, was founded in 2018 as Lordstown Motors, named after Lordstown, Ohio. Lordstown Motors was founded by a former CEO of another company on this list, Workhorse Group Incorporated, also an electric vehicle maker. Lordstown Motors started by purchasing from General Motors a shutdown factory site. But due to financial limitations, Lordstown Motors needed GM to loan them the very same money needed to purchase and use that factory. Lordstown Motors then licensed Workhorse Group Technology to build their own vehicles, with Workhorse then gaining a 10% stake in Lordstown Motors. In 2020, Lordstown went public on the NASDAQ exchange through a SPAC merger, with an estimated value of $1.3 billion. In June 2021, Lordstown amended an annual SEC report to say that they did not have enough money to make cars. This was followed by a scathing report by Hindenburg Research stating accusations of fraud. In 2022, Lordstown began production of the Endurance, their entryway model electric pickup truck. In June 2023, they halted production on the Endurance after producing only 450 trucks. According to Crunchbase, since 2019, Lordstown Motors, now New Ride Inc., has raised over $1.1 billion in investor funding. Since their founding, they have had 3 CEOs, after the OG founder CEO stepped down due to fraud allegations. Lordstown filed for bankruptcy in June 2023. However, in October 2023, the sale of Lordstown was approved, and the buyer was LAS Capital, a company that is majority owned by the OG Lordstown Motors founder and former CEO. Talk about a full circle. In March 2024, New Ride Inc. was born from the ashes of Lordstown Motors as a restructured company headquartered in New York City. The all-time high stock price for Lordstown Motors was $435, reached back in September 2020. And as of January 2025, it is valued at $1.25 a share. That is a 99% decrease all time. Their current market cap is valued at $20 million. Next, Workhorse Group Incorporated. Workhorse Group, originally called AMP Electric Vehicles, was founded in 2007 by the same person who founded Lordstown Motors and New Ride Inc. Workhorse was focused on commercial vehicles for delivery, like Postal Service and the UPS, and essentially trying to be the fleet manufacturer and maintainer for these purposes. Workhorse originally wanted to retrofit existing gas-powered vehicles with electric drivetrains. In 2015, AMP Electric Vehicles changed its name to Workhorse Group Incorporated and listed itself directly onto the NASDAQ capital markets. This is the only company on this list to not list themselves on the market via a SPAC merger. So let's give them credit, and my statement earlier that all the companies that we are discussing listed themselves on the market through SPACs is now rendered false, so bury me, shovel and spade. In 2019, the founder of Workhorse Group resigned, but before this he had founded Lordstown Motors in 2018, assuming that he needed a different electric vehicle company to go in bankrupt. In 2021, Workhorse was being probed for investigation by the Department of Justice and the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. In 2023, Workhorse reported they were no longer under any investigation. Workhorse currently offers 3 different models for commercial use. All of these are retrofitted work vehicles. Since 2010, Workhorse has raised $383 million in investor capital, according to Crunchbase. In Q3 2024, they posted an earnings statement with a revenue of $2.5 million, mostly from proprietary software and doing deliveries for FedEx, which is down $500,000 from Q3 2023. On top of that, losses amounted to $16.5 million that same quarter, as the need to manufacture more and sell more is undermined by cost-saving measures such as laying off employees. All of this according to a Workhorse earnings presentation in Q3 2024. Workhorse's all-time high stock price was $812 per share. And as of January 2025, one share of Workhorse Group Incorporated is worth 71 cents, officially a penny stock. And to the last entry on this list, Nikola Corporation, which Freestyled Opinion might have the best opportunity to turn their current circumstances around.
2 hours later.
Short-lived, as the company recently announced that it filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Well, never mind, I guess. But let's do it. Nikola Corp, formerly Nikola Motor Company, was founded in 2014 in Utah. They focused on electric trucks, so they were trying to electrify truck fleets, but they also had hydrogen and natural gas fueled variants planned and or conceptualized. Nikola Motor Company had raised over $3.5 billion in investor funds since 2018, according to Crunchbase. Nikola went public via a SPAC merger, so that makes a repeated appearance again, in March of 2020. The company was valued at that time at $13 billion, even though they had a posted revenue that same year of under $100,000. Nikola Motor Company and founder Trevor Milton had lined up deals with many partners such as GM, BP, and Republic Services by 2020. On September 15, 2020, however, the Department of Justice under the then Trump administration formally began investigating Nikola, and 6 days later, the CEO and founder stepped down. In July 2021, the founder of Nikola, Trevor Milton, was indicted by a federal grand jury for 3 counts fraud and 2 counts securities fraud, stating he had lied about all aspects of the business, and was found guilty in October 2022 and sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2023. Focusing on other aspects of the Nikola business outside of the drama with their former CEO and founder, since 2022, Nikola has delivered several hundred trucks and semi-trucks, claiming a fuel cell range of 500 miles and a 20-minute charge-up time. Now, for comparison, a Tesla Model S has a fuel cell range of up to around 400 miles and a charge-up time of around 30 minutes to an hour to get another 200 miles. But Nikola Corporation is focused on long-haul trucking, where the average long-haul trucker drives 500 miles a day, sometimes more. So having a baseline differentiator of 500 miles and 20-minute charge-up time is very important in an industry with such heavy usage and mileage requirements. Nikola, however, has taken other moonshots, an electric jet ski, weirdly enough, and a consumer-level pickup truck. But they have settled and focused in the semi-truck manufacturing space, with companies like Anheuser-Busch and Walmart of Canada placing orders and even getting prototypes delivered. Nikola, however, has faced several setbacks due to recalls, especially on their Tre model trucks. But in the end, Nikola Corp, changing their name to that from Nikola Motors Company in 2020, had an all-time high stock price of $1,977 per share. But now they trade at 26 cents per share as of February 2025. Yet another company reduced to a penny stock that we discussed in this video. Okay, this is just going to be a quick review and overview analysis of what we just discussed, which were these electric vehicles and what the future may hold for them. So yeah, let's do it and drink some water before. Stay hydrated. Analysis point number one, electric vehicles are a hype stock, or at least the current generation of electric vehicle companies are a get-rich-quick scheme with no recourse really for retail investors, and it's very scary for major investors too, because your money's going to creating the foundation and infrastructure for a company, not just a fully developed concept that needs money to ship cars out the door. If you just look at their production numbers, that bears out to be true. They did not have true customer bases, so instead of spending time innovating in their space, they spent time trying to build that fan base. Analysis point number two, we're seeing a similar reverse trend with Tesla. As Elon Musk, the poster child of this era of EV companies, centers himself and his ideals and goals, despite that potentially hurting his business and investments, just to attain more money and create more hype for himself, it leaves the door open for other companies, such as Rivian, to take advantage of this. But in the case of Rivian, they need to do better at brand building to truly compete, because that is their biggest weakness. Analysis point number three, car manufacturing is expensive, and it costs even more to get people to drive home with your car. I mean, look at all the car dealerships, and all the infrastructure is centered around getting people to buy cars. So EVs entering this space have to do all of that and even more in a space that a lot of people can't afford or don't understand, especially in the relatively early days for electric vehicles, which is right now. Analysis point number four, America is a tough market for electric vehicles due to the petrodollar and the legacy of oil in the USA. Despite many recognizing the need to shift, the cost to do so is being bared by neither the consumer nor the government, at least in this administration, which is creating stronger ties to other oil-rich countries. And that means even more capital must come from these startups to shift an American society unsure in which direction to take itself, despite data showing the obvious path. Analysis point number five, companies just focused on making vehicles can't win like Tesla because they lack the upfront capital or a brand, and that is brand building. Who is the Apple of electric vehicles? That's Tesla. And other companies are trying to do that. Some say Rivian, but they have to keep going for that to be found out. Whereas Tesla had Elon's X.com, the original one, money, which turned into PayPal Mafia money, which now funds his side quest mode, which he's making us all suffer through, but still, the point remains. Analysis point number six, a new era of electric vehicle companies is needed, as the current generation relied too much on the hype model and less on the brass tacks, meat and potatoes, conventionality that can win in the US market. In the USA, the productivity, the strength, and the roots of your product are what people judge you for, and the next generation of American electric vehicle companies that make it will demonstrate that. And that's all on this one, everyone. Thank you so much. Subscribe, follow the socials, go to the website, do all the things. More's coming from merch and reports, more videos. We got topics, we got community. We're trying to do it all here. So stay tuned, and here we go.